The hidden financial war threatening to block Caitlin Clark's $20 million payday is the story the league is desperate to keep behind closed doors. On the surface, the 2026 season should be a victory lap for women's basketball, but a catastrophic failure in legal negotiations has just left the world's biggest stars in a state of professional limbo. While fans see record-breaking jersey sales and sold-out arenas, the reality is a brutal three-way fight between the league's office, the apparel giants, and a group of veteran players who feel they are being erased in real time. This isn't just about a missed deadline. This is about a system where a player like Caitlin Clark can generate hundreds of millions for her partners while technically being one of the lowest paid employees in her own building. We are following the money trail through leaked CBA proposals, secret Nike boardroom shifts, and the creative accounting that the Players Union is now calling a total manipulation of the facts. In this deep dive, we're answering three critical questions. First, why did the league intentionally stall a deal that would have made their biggest stars millionaires overnight? Second, how did a sneaker contract designed to save the league's image actually create a locker room civil war? And third, what is the secret accounting trick the WNBA is using to keep 80% of the new media money out of the players' pockets? By the end of this, you will understand why the WNBA's most popular stars are currently working without a long-term contract, and why the league's latest billion-dollar media deal might actually be the very thing that tears it apart. The tension begins not on the court, but in the sterile hallways of Nike's Oregon headquarters. According to reports surfaced on January 15, 2026, Nike has essentially turned its campus into a personal playground for Caitlin Clark as they prepare for her massive 2026 signature shoe release. While this is a dream for Clark's brand, it has allegedly created a massive rift with other Nike athletes, most notably Aja Wilson. Per industry insiders on January 15th, marketing resources for Wilson's signature line have reportedly been scaled back or dropped entirely to make room for the Clark rollout. This creates a dangerous expectation versus reality gap. The expectation was that a rising tide would lift all boats, but the reality is that the industry is choosing a single face to carry the entire economic weight of the sport. Internal documents allegedly leaked from a marketing summit in late 2025 suggest that Nike's projected spend on Clark is 10 times higher than any other female athlete in their history. This favoritism is leaking into the CBA negotiations, where veteran players are realizing that the league's marketing model is shifting away from the collective and toward an individual-first strategy. When you have one player earning $16 million in endorsements while her veteran teammates are fighting for a housing stipend, the chemistry doesn't just crack, it shatters. This isn't just about jealousy, it is about the marketing floor. If the biggest brand in the world decides only one player is worth the top-tier investment, it lowers the negotiating power for every other woman in the league. This brand-level manipulation is the first domino to fall in a season that was supposed to be about unity. But as messy as the sneaker war is, it pales in comparison to the most shocking part of this industry saga, the media deal illusion. The most shocking realization for fans in January 2026 is that the WNBA and the Players Union officially failed to reach a new collective bargaining agreement by the January 9th deadline. According to reports from the Associated Press on January 10th, 2026, the league has entered a status quo period where no new deal exists. This means the very foundation of the 2026 season is built on sand. The sticking point isn't just a few $1,000s. It is a fundamental disagreement over how to define the word profit. Per the Sports Business Journal on December 2nd, 2025, the league proposed a system where players would receive 70% of net revenue. That sounds like a massive win until you look at the fine print. Net revenue only counts the money left over after the league pays for its own expenses, including arenas, marketing, and travel. The Players Union, however, is demanding 30% of gross revenue, which is the total money coming in before the league starts deducting its bills. The union is essentially accusing the league of using vague math to hide the true scale of the recent financial boom. Sources close to the negotiations suggest that under the league's proposal, the average salary would allegedly stay far below what the public expects, despite the league's $77 billion media deal with partners like NBC and Amazon. If the league can spend as much as they want on operating costs, they can effectively make sure there is never any net profit to share. This is a classic industry tactic, often called Hollywood accounting, and the Players Union is currently calling the league's bluff. They are promising to show receipts that prove the league is inflating its expenses to keep players' salaries artificially low, while the value of the franchises themselves has tripled in less than 24 months. Further complicating this financial standoff is the surprising issue of player housing. In a league that is supposedly more profitable than ever, but WNBA's latest proposal reportedly included a move to take away player housing benefits. According to Front Office Sports on December 2, 2025, the league is looking to cut these stipends, arguing that because salaries are projected to rise, players should handle their own living expenses. The Players Union was reportedly blindsided by this, viewing it as a move to give with one hand and take with the other. This is especially critical in high-cost markets like New York or Los Angeles, where a rookie salary, even a boosted one, doesn't go far. This move by the league is being viewed as a massive PR mistake, as it paints a picture of a billion-dollar industry nickel and diming its most essential workers during their most successful year in history. The irony is staggering. Players are being asked to fly on private charters, a hard-won victory from the previous year, but they might not have a league-subsidized apartment to return to. Per the leaked memos from the December 2025 meetings, the league office allegedly argued that professionalization means players should be responsible for their own domestic lives, just like the NBA. However, the union pointed out that NBA minimum salaries are nearly 10 times higher than the WNBA minimum, making the comparison not just unfair, but mathematically impossible for the bottom half of the roster. This housing fight has become a symbol of the league's identity crisis. They want to look like a major league in the commercials, but they are still trying to operate like a small business in the payroll department. Then there's the legal trap known as Unrivaled. Originally intended as a way for players to earn money during the off-season without going overseas, it has now become a major legal hurdle in the CBA talks. Per legal analysis on January 17, 2026, the very existence of Unrivaled actually undermines the players' leverage in court. If the players tried to sue the WNBA for antitrust violations or a lack of competitive pay, the league could argue that a viable alternative exists in Unrivaled, thereby proving there is no monopoly. This has created a situation where the stars might have accidentally sabotaged their own nuclear option for negotiations. The tension is palpable. Veterans who own and promote Unrivaled are being accused of overplaying their hand, leaving younger stars who are still on rookie contracts, like Caitlyn and Angel Reese, to bear the brunt of the stalled talks. Per Reddit legal trackers on January 17, 2026, players under rookie scale contracts effectively are trapped, forced to show up for the 2026 season on their original $85,000 salary, while the veterans they play against are free agents who could command over $1 million if a deal is ever reached. This creates a two-tier system in the locker room. On one side, you have the owners, the players who have equity in Unrivaled and other side hustles, and on the other, you have the employees, the rookies and role players who are entirely dependent on the WNBA's paycheck. When the union votes on a new deal, These two groups have completely different priorities, and the league office is reportedly using that division to stall the negotiations even further. Beyond the money, we have to look at the physical toll of this industry pressure. According to recent injury updates from December 31st, 2025, the pressure to maintain the Clark effect has led to an unprecedented workload for the league's top stars. The industry reality is that these players are being worked at a pace the human body wasn't designed for, driven by a media machine that needs them on screen to justify $77 billion in rights fees. In the NBA, load management is a common term, but in the WNBA, players are reportedly being told that if they sit out, the ratings will tank and their future salaries will suffer. This is the ultimate catch-22. To get the big payday, they have to play every game and do every media interview. But the more they do, the higher the risk of a career-ending injury before the new contract even starts. Per an unverified insider on January 4, 2026, at least 3 major stars have privately expressed concerns that the 2026 schedule is dangerously dense, with back-to-back games across the country. The league's refusal to adjust the schedule while simultaneously fighting the players on health benefits has created a toxic environment. It's a high-stakes game of chicken, where the league is betting that the players love the game too much to walk away, while the players are realizing that their bodies are the only leverage they have left. As we look toward the start of the 2026 season, the expectations versus reality of the WNBA is clear. The expectation was a golden era of wealth, stability, and mutual growth. The reality is a status quo limbo, where the biggest names in the sport are one bad meeting away from a total lockout. The fallout from these failed negotiations will determine the next decade of basketball. We have seen how the league uses net revenue math to keep the players in check, how brand giants like Nike are accidentally fueling locker room resentment, and how the very leagues meant to help players are being used against them in court. This isn't just about a $20 million payday for one person. It is about whether the industry will finally treat these athletes like the billion-dollar assets they have become. The money is there, the fans are there, but the rules are still being written by a small group of people in suits who are terrified of losing control. If the WNBA doesn't fix its accounting problem and its favoritism problem soon, the golden era might end before it even truly begins. The players are starting to realize that the game on the court is the easy part. It's the game in the boardroom that is rigged against them. If you want to understand how deep this manipulation goes and how the industry truly operates behind the velvet ropes, you need to see what else they are hiding. For the full breakdown of how contracts are being weaponized against your favorite athletes and the secret deals being made in the NBA shadows, you need to watch the Court Vision Rope Industry Secrets playlist next. The game is changing, but the rules are still being written by the people in the suits, not the ones on the court.